Hey everybody, welcome back to Auto Scholar with Mr. B. I'm Mr. B. Today we have this 2004 B5.5 Passat 1.8 turbo automatic in for some secondary air injection work. And I thought this would be a good time to show you guys how the secondary air injection works and diagnostic tips on figuring out what's going on with the secondary air injection on this car. I do have a video on Mark IVs on secondary air injection, and it seems to be going pretty well, seems to be getting a lot of views, so I figured I'd go ahead and do a video on the Passat. So if you learn anything from this video, please give me a like and of course subscribe to the channel. So if you're here, maybe you have a problem with your secondary air injection, maybe you have a P0411 code, which is an incorrect flow detected for secondary air, or maybe you have a P0491 code, which is an insufficient flow for the secondary air. And I'm here to show you what's going on with your car. So secondary air injection system on these vehicles, its only job really is to heat up the catalytic converter quicker than if it didn't have a secondary air injection system. So what it does is when your car is cold, when you first crank it up, the secondary air may run, the pump may run for about 30 seconds or so. And what that does is it pumps air into the exhaust system, and that heats your catalytic converter up, just like a blacksmith has a bellows on a forge and they're trying to make the fire hotter. So this is to get the car in a closed loop quicker, and it's strictly an emissions item. And normally we don't see any performance issues out of the secondary air system. No, dropped fuel economy, no performance issues. Only see normally either weird noises or sounds, or the check engine light comes on with one of the two codes that I just listed. So the problem with this system is very spread out on this car, and there's a lot of components to it, and a lot of those components on this vehicle by design just aren't that great. So I'm going to show you all the components of the system. We're going to go over wiring, vacuum lines, we're going to go over the pump itself, the combination valve that runs the exhaust to the exhaust, that runs the fresh air there, and we'll talk about the vacuum valve that is on there that actuates this whole system. So stick around for that. Okay, so just very quickly, I'm going to go over these components and pretty much on the car where they live. So first thing, I'm going to go over here to where our ECM box is. Now this box is held on by a couple, 3 or 4 8mm screws right here. And if you can't reach the one in the back, there's a little hole back here that you pop a cover off of, and you can reach that screw in the back. You take this waterproof cover off, and you're going to see two components here. You're going to see, this is the relay right here. It's marked 373, and this is your maxi fuse that runs your pump. So this is a 40 amp fuse, and you need to check and make sure this fuse is good if you have either of these codes, because that's going to be a dead giveaway for a code. This relay right here is going to be, sometimes I've seen these bad just because it has a lot of amperage going through it. It's just a 4-pin relay. I'll discuss wiring on that in a minute. Now over here is where we see the valve at, I'll get my camera to act right, the valve at for the exhaust changeover here. Sometimes it's called a combination valve, and on this one it's a little tough to change out if you need to. You have a vacuum valve, a vacuum line that runs off the back of this that goes bad all the time. That vacuum line is going to run all the way down here underneath the intake into where the vacuum changeover valve is. You've got an electronic valve down here. It's underneath the intake. It's the one up front, and that valve has a 2-pin connector that is controlled by the ECM to open or close. And what happens is it opens up, it allows vacuum to travel out of the engine into this valve. The valve opens up and lets the exhaust flow into, the air flow into the exhaust. Okay, now moving over here, we'll see that we have this line here, this metal pipe here, and this is your secondary air pipe, and it goes all the way down here, and your pump lives down there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lift the car up, and I'll show you where the pump is. All right, so moving underneath the car, this is where your pump lives right here, and it's right here. And you have 3 bolts here, nuts, that will keep this on. One here, and the hard one is up top here. Your plug runs back here. It's just a big thick gauge 2-wire plug, and you have your inlet and outlet hoses right here for the pump itself. And this pumps directly off the air box. Okay, so if your air box has any issues, you can have a lot of problems. Now on these cars, we see pumps fail a lot because they sit so low to the ground. If you have a lowered vehicle, or if you've been through any water, I've seen these completely full of water. I've seen them busted on the bottom. And a lot of these hoses will also crack as well. And that's what will give you that insufficient flow or incorrect flow. So on these, I'm gonna have to replace this pump. This pump right here is starting to lock up and it sounds awful when it's running. But you have these squeeze clamps right here that you'll grab and you'll squeeze it. It takes two hands to do this, and I got my camera, so you'll squeeze it and this will come off just like that. And these will have O-rings in there, okay, that if they get dry or brittle or something like that, you might hear a whooshing noise or something like that when the secondary air is running. And of course, you have a larger one up here. And all those hoses right there, they're these accordion style hoses. So they do have a tendency to get old and crack and dry rot. And they can be found on Amazon for about $15 for the whole set of hoses. And the pump, I just bought a pump for this car. I've replaced the hoses on this car before, but I just got this pump. I think I paid about $42 on Amazon, and I bench tested it. It works fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this pump after I get done making this video. Okay, if I encounter either of these codes or I'm hearing an issue with this system, the first thing I do is I go grab my scan tool. This is an Autel. Now, this isn't 100% necessary because I can also run this pump off of crossing out my relay here, going from the 30 to the 87 pin on the relay, and it shows you the wiring diagram right here. And if you look on the back of the relay, if you just take a jumper wire and you cross 30 to 87, then you can make this pump run. So, but I can also do it through output diagnostic test mode. So let's start this. So there's the evap purge. Go to next. Secondary air inlet valve right here. Get this thing to focus. Is going to be this underneath here. So when I activate this, I should hear a click. I don't know if you can hear that, but that is telling me that the secondary air inlet valve is at least getting power and ground from the ECM. Next, we're going to go to the relay. Okay, so we're testing this relay. It's a J299 relay, and this should make my pump come on. I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of the test because that's all I do. So that's telling me that the ECM is powering the relay right here, ECM relay, and I have good wiring getting all the way up to the pump, okay? Now that pump that you just heard is not a healthy pump, okay? The bearing in the pump starting to go out and it's too loud, so I'm replacing the pump itself to repair this problem. But so now, if I've still got a problem, what I'm going to be looking at is either this combination valve back here is bad, or I have a broken pipe somewhere, okay? All the piping, I need to inspect that, or I have vacuum line issues. So I'm gonna check that vacuum line going all up to the inlet valve. And you have a little manifold here that runs and it provides vacuum to the inlet valve and the turbo valve, which is the other valve underneath here. And so you wanna make sure that vacuum line is good, it's running all the way back here. And they go bad all the time, especially on the earlier B5 Passats. They had that braided hose and they went bad all the time and they caused a secondary air problem. If my vacuum's good, my valve is holding vacuum, it could be a mechanical problem with the valve, a spring broken, the pinto's not sealing or something like that. But basically the car can't tell that it's getting that air down there to the catalytic converter. So this valve right here is kind of tough to replace. You're gonna need a little, I think it's either a 4 or a 5 millimeter Allen head back there. And you're gonna need to remove all this stuff to get it out of the way to get down to that. And it does have a gasket back there. So if you're replacing this valve, remember it does have a gasket you need to order as well. So if you've tested all that, if the valve, this mechanical valve right here, the electromechanical valve is working, you should be able to activate it through diagnostic test mode, and you can actually blow through it, and it should pass air. Deactivated, it should close, okay? So if it's stuck open or it's stuck closed, you won't get vacuum here, and that's going to be a problem as well. So the most problems I see out of these are going to be either the broken bellows over there, or I have seen relays go bad, okay? So you may want to check the relay and make sure it's okay. The ECM is going to provide the power and the ground to activate this relay, and the fuse is going to provide the power to the relay to the pump, okay? So we need to make sure that fuse is okay, and if you're having problems, pull this fuse out and inspect it, because I have seen where the leg on this fuse will burn off, and it'll mess up this socket back here, and that can also cause issues as well. And at that point, you just need to put a, either an inline fuse holder or replace this piece that the fuse sits in. So that's pretty much it. These systems, they seem a little complex, but there is ways to diagnose this, and it should be easy. If you don't have this scan tool, if you're just in your driveway working, you can cross again that 30 to 87 pin, and you take this out, and I'm trying to see the light here. 30's down here, and the 87's right here. So you should be able to just straight wire this to that, and your pump should come on, okay? So just keep that in mind whenever you're doing the diagnostics. I'm trying to get y'all through this repair without you having to replace too many parts that don't need to be replaced. And again, if you ever have questions, I'm always available in the comments to answer these questions. I know this is hard. Now, some people will get rid of this whole system. They'll coat it out of their ECM, and they'll use block-off plates and get rid of all this piping and the pump and all that stuff. But if you live in a emission system state where you have to get tested, then there's really no way to get around this but to repair it. So again, just visual inspection is good, and then get the scan tool out and start looking, because most of the time it's going to be something visually that you can see that's messed up. Okay, so that about does it for us today. Again, if this taught you anything at all, give me a like, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm doing a lot of videos on these Passats, and I'm adding more and more each week. I also have some other Volkswagen videos that you may be interested in. I try to keep kind of in that genre. So I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, VK, pretty much anywhere social media is. You just look for Auto Scholar with Mr. B. I'll pop up. Give me a follow, give me a sub, whatever, and catch some content that I have on there. I post a lot of stuff that is not, I can't post on YouTube, obviously. Pictures, diagrams, things like that. Of course, I answer any question that comes across those platforms as well. So I'm going to go ahead, jack this thing up, and put my secondary air injection pump on and get this car fixed. I'm also about to drop a video on time and chain tensioner for this vehicle as well. So if you have a 1.8 turbo and you're looking to change the time and chain tensioner, of course, subscribe to the channel, and it should be out probably next week. So for now, we'll see you next time on Auto Scholar with Mr. B.